It's the JTShowShow!
10,
Hooray.
And his name is John C.
That's big news.
That is big news.
That's big news because it's only July 31st. We're still in the month of July. This is the JTShowShow. This is Cut.
What's going on, guys?
July 31st. We were just talking about. We were just
listening to Theo.
we were talking about Jonathan Taylor and how running backs are pretty underappreciated with today's game.
Yeah, I think that's just not to take the side of the NFL executives or anything like that, but that's just kind of the way it is. Like, there were those... Le'Veon Bell had that big... Like, he's like the prime example. He was like the number one fantasy running back in the league for like 3 years in a row. Had that one holdout year. Yeah. And then never did another thing.
Cowboys, Eagles, right?
He went to the Jets. Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah. Oh, wrong guy.
Yeah. He went to the Jets after the Steelers.
Yeah. Who went from Cowboys to Eagles? LeSean McCoy?
LeSean McCoy started with the Eagles. There's Shady McCoy was drafted by the Eagles.
There's somebody that, with Dallas Cowboys' great offensive line, said, fuck it, I'm worth way more. And he went to the Eagles the next year and sucked a big fat one.
I want to say, because I know there's been a couple. Was it DeMarco Murray?
DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, DeMarco Murray was his wasn't as bad though as because Le'Veon Bell literally went from like the best running back in the league to a nobody.
Yeah. And
then that Dallas O-line was making people like, who was the dude from Arkansas? Darren McFadden. I mean, that O-line made him look fucking great, and he was just very mediocre his whole career. But
we're gonna try to get this uploaded soon so we can record it, because I think for this we should try to record it. We'll make it either JT Tuesdays or JT Thursdays. I don't know, but something more consistent.
I'm okay with Thursdays.
Yeah.
So,
but July 31st. Today's the day that unfortunately Pee Wee Herman passed away to his silent battle against cancer.
It's a shitty batter.
Yeah, that's combining battle and cancer.
Yeah. To make the worst cake mix ever.
That's probably the form of cancer he died from.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
I did look it up, not to like talk shit about the dead, but so it wasn't a movie theater. It was an adult film.
Yeah, where everybody does it. They just happen to recognize the one guy doing it.
Yeah, well, like, I guess someone else that was in there was like, hey, there's a guy beating off next to me.
Yeah.
And just happened to be Pee Wee fucking Herman.
By the way, if you're here, leave a comment. We'll address it.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about it. We're doing this live.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Whose birthday is it?
Mine was between two, but I went with a fan favorite. I went with BJ Novak.
Okay, I almost went with him. I went with Mark Cuban.
I really wanted to go with Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes, also J.K. Rowling's, even though she's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, dude.
There was a bunch.
We're already drinking beer. Don't start those subjects. I don't want to get too hard and canceled.
There was actually a bunch of good ones. Who do we got? So we got
in a small town.
Oh, I think we might have named all the ones. J.K. Rowling, B.J. Novak, Wesley Snipes, Mark Cuban. Oh, Lil Uzi. Lil Uzi was the other one.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. I was like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, I don't know any of these other people. I guess we named all the big ones that I was looking at before. But yeah, happy birthday to the fucking Cube, man.
Pee Wee Herman, if you're in hell, I hope you're knowing the devil every day with the word of the day. And
that's Pee Wee Herman now.
And I hope you ride your bicycle everywhere in hell. Satan's like fucking doing his job. He's like, and you will burn in fire. And then Pee Wee's just like, that's the word of the day, fire. And it's the same.
He's riding around on his little bicycle, just beating his meat.
And then some guy's like, it's fire every day. And then Dell's like, yeah, dude, he made hell way worse.
He's like, I was gonna punish him, but I figured I might as well just fucking employ him.
Dude. I'm gonna bit that.
That's a good one. Fun fact of the day. I got a bunch of fun facts today, but the first fun fact is John F. Kennedy has only missed one Lions playoff victory. That
is hilarious to me every time I see that.
I love that. I fucking love it. And he's been dead since, 67, 68? When did he die? I know it's like the late 60s, but it's insane.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Fucking nuts. I did see, so LeBron James' school in Akron.
Love this.
They, not a single kid in his 8th grade class has ever passed a state-issued math test.
Yeah, and then, like, the English proficiency is just as bad.
Yeah. But they still they get a shit ton of funding because LeBron uses it to, like, funnel his money.
$8 million a year from taxpayers.
Mm-hmm.
Now the School Board of Ohio for Education might have to step in.
They're going after him, yeah.
And I'm just like...
So for 3 years, he hasn't had a single 8th grader pass, like a state-credited math test.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like... the idea is great, and it was a great initiative, but it was just poor planning overall.
You look so much taller than me because my seat was all the way down. I was like, why am I looking up at him?
I've been lifting.
You've been lifting?
Yeah, I got them both like
You've been
this.
stretching out your fucking back.
I did some squats.
It's not gonna make you taller, you Barry Bonds.
I'm just huge, dude. I'm still growing. God's like, stop growing out and I'll grow you up. And I was like, I got you, God.
Could you imagine if you started taking like some Barry Bonds shit and you just grew like 3 inches?
I'd love it.
That'd be I'd never get off of it.
I'd
never get off of it.
I would instantly... I'd probably stop playing golf actually I wouldn't have to stop playing golf. I'd just join so many winter rec leagues in basketball. That's all I'd be doing in the winter.
Winter rec leagues?
Yeah, dude.
That's hilarious.
6'5", dominate winter rec leagues.
Yeah, you might as well. What was the other one I had? Oh, in the MLB, every single team in the MLB so far this season has had at least one sacrifice bunt for, like, a score.
Yeah.
Except for the Atlanta Braves. And they're the number 1 rated offense in the whole league.
You can see why
you don't need it.
You don't need it.
You don't need it. I just thought that was an impressive stat.
There was an argument the other day in baseball. It was the Tigers White Sox, and the White Sox pitcher. So this guy for the Tigers got his very first hit during the game. This is what I know about the situation. So they threw the ball over the trainer. Trainer had tape. He marked it. The pitcher's bitching, and then this guy breaks it down. He's like, "Hey, the pitcher's bitching because why the fuck did they rotate on a guy that they've never seen bat before?" So basically, the third base coach is giving all these really shitty fucking calls to the infield.
Was he drunk?
No,
he just sucks.
So they score a run. He gets the batter out, and then he's bitching. So the third base coach confronts him, and he's just basically like, "Shut the fuck up! You don't even know I'm mad." And the third base coach, finally at the end, he's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna fucking come talk to you about this later." And he goes, "Yeah, we'll pack a fucking lunch." And then, because it was super fucking hilarious. But I've been watching a little bit more baseball ever since I went to the Tigers game.
I've been watching highlights.
But that's all there is.
I've been watching highlights.
Yeah.
The A's have actually put together a pretty decent.
I'm trying to pay attention to the playoffs for betting.
Oh yeah.
I read 3 pages of my fantasy football book today.
Okay.
All generic information.
So, no way.
So
you have to look what day was it published, because that's very fucking important.
Last week.
Oh, it was last week? Okay.
Yeah,
so it was like pretty fresh when you got it.
They said that in the month when we start making different calls than what you're reading right now, don't blame us because you are the one who drafted him. So it breaks down what's really cool. They've got different categories like the rookies to watch. Mm-hmm. But then they have a page that's top 200 for PPR and top 200 for dynasty leagues.
Yeah.
And I was like,
the dynasty league is going to be a big one for you. Yeah.
It's huge. The first page is just saying, "Welcome to the chaos." Mm-hmm. Second article is updates in the league. Beautiful picture of Aaron Rodgers. And then it talks about all the coaching changes in the league. So this is kind of giving me like a better spin up for the regular season as well.
Good.
Because finally I'll be able to be like, oh yeah, well, he was traded for this, and this guy's like, how the fuck does he know all this shit? Well, I'm just more...
I bought the book.
I bought a book. So far, I mean, at the end of the day, there's...
What do you give the book out of 10? Was it worth the buy?
Yeah, well, I think so, because on draft day, no matter how you draft, you're going to have of course you have the counter that's showing you right now the best players on the board.
Yeah, those are bullshit though.
Yeah, 100%.
Because last year they had Michael Thomas as like a top 10 wideout, and he didn't even fucking play.
And a lot of my approaches for fantasy football is, yeah, there's guys I want, but who's on the board?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I want this guy. But
Sometimes you got to go get your guy though.
yes.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm not so much out of this making a people that I do want. I'm making a don't draft them this year, even if they look juicy.
How far? So let's say we get all the way to our draft day, week before fucking training camp, or week before regular season, and Dalvin Cook's still not signed.
Not taking him in the first round.
Not in the first round.
Not in the first round.
What about our first round?
Not in our first round.
You don't think so?
Oh, someone? Someone?
No, like our first round where like the top 10 guys are off the board.
Yeah.
So you got guys like Christian McCaffrey's gone, probably Travis Kelce.
I don't think he's gone.
No, I don't. He's not gone for us. He's going to be there in the first round though. Like, because what pick are you?
I think he gets drafted round 2.
I think he gets drafted round 2
because
if he's not signed.
Because you got to think that's 4 or 5 weeks.
Would you take him? Let's say you had, and I know this you don't have it, but let's say you had the 10th overall.
I'm gonna have.
So you have 10 and 11.
So if stakes go well and the chances play out like they should, if I get the number 1 overall, then we snake, and then we.
So you have 20. Are you taking him at 20?
20 and 21. If he's available, I will waste a pick on him because I have the automatic pick next.
Yeah.
But that's only if he drops to 20.
Though.
I think he goes second round easy, but the sacrifice is the first. I know, he'll probably score and he's a great player, but you really don't start clicking with the offense until at least 3 weeks.
Yeah, but he is a running back, so
whole A, whole B, whole C.
Yeah, it's not. It's a lot easier for a running back than let's say like a wide receiver.
And plus,
coming in.
The thing about professional sports is you still have to remember every play, but at the same time, you're not fucking having a guy.
Or everyone's got their own cues too. So like when Antonio Brown came and played for New England for like that one game, he had like a specific call out for Antonio because Antonio didn't know the whole playbook. Mm-hmm. So he would say his normal thing and then look at Antonio and be like XJ.
Yeah, because
and Antonio knew like, okay, run a slant.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying for quarterbacks have so much more leniency because in high school, I don't know if you ran
a veer.
No, I'm saying, how did you call your offense? Did your coach give signals? Did he give numbers?
I would run to the sideline.
Okay, so
coach would give us. It was like a list of things. So it'd be like Viking spread, 3 right.
A word I hate is flanker for receiver.
Oh yeah,
a receiver's a flanker. So we would have a new flanker every single time come in on offense to give the play to the quarterback. Mm-hmm. So if you were on the rotation of receiver, if you're not the starter, you're rotating out every 3 plays and then coming back with the play on the next play.
Yeah.
Unless, hey, this kid sucks, extra running back go in there and go. But
yeah.
And so, but I've seen a California high school JV team that didn't lose for 128 games in a row do straight pickle, orange, cucumber, yellow 15 go.
Yeah.
And the coach was like, "Hey,
was that down Southern California? It's probably Mater Dei or something like that. That was the number 1 school in the country for a decade or something crazy. That was the one where the Robo QB went there.
I know his name's Jerry. But this old dude who was the co-teacher, he wasn't a teacher, he was just part of the school organization, been coaching for 50 years. Mm-hmm. He was just every year there's kids that go, I can't do it, and he's like, that's a bullshit attitude, what are you doing after practice? And they're like, oh, I go hunting or this and that. He's like,
it's not your life then.
So you're not dedicated,
yeah.
And then really click, but. Memorizing that shit is so much harder, but then you're in the pros and you're like, oh,
they already have it beat into them.
Yeah. And plus there's one TikToker who breaks down NFL plays on offense and defense, and he breaks down a Lions offensive play where both guards pull to their right because the linebackers read guards, and that's the scouting they have. And then basically what ends up happening is with the crash downs, there's one person the running back has to beat. There's one unopened tackle, and it's the cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, holy shit, I've never really thought of 1v1 because in your head you're trying to block every guy, but you got to let your guys make plays.
Yeah,
so,
you want to create the 1v1s. Great. Yeah. I've always said this too. Great offensive players will always break the tackle on a 1v1.
Yeah.
But also on the same hand, great defensive players will always make the tackle on the 1v1.
And sometimes great players get tackled on a good 1v1, but it's a great tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he beats the corner, and the Lions ended up doing this like play that should have been like 3-4 yards in the NFL, and he busted the one tackle and he scored a touchdown, and I was like, that's
it's
fucking
like Tom Brady
right
going up against the Bears in 06. He had fucking Urlacher looking at him in the eyes, threw him a little Jacob Taylor juke. He's hit the fucking ground praying. He broke
I always
the tackle.
remember that game because,
great offense beats great defense,
because there's one defender I always hated, and I don't hate him, he's a great player, but I fucking hate Brian Urlacher because
I loved him.
Oh, I loved him too. He's great.
He played in your fucking division though, so I understand the hate. Yeah.
Like, oh fuck you, but he was so like it wasn't even also a hate like, oh, you're such a piece of shit. It was like, oh fuck you for being on the other team.
He was I loved his story because he played safety in college, and that was one of the reasons why his 40 was so good. He ran like a sub 4.5 40.
He was so fast.
Yeah, he ran like a sub 4.5 40, which is pretty fucking quick for a dude that was 6'3", 230 pounds.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking
Ever seen
fast.
Brian Urlacher in the league with hair?
Never.
Terrifying.
Never. My favorite memories are bald ass Urlacher
like,
just crunching
like
people.
Trevor
and if it wasn't for Ray Lewis, Urlacher would have been looked at as the premier guy of the 2000s. He would have been the prototype for middle linebacker. But Ray Lewis just so happened to exist, and he was made to play the position.
That's the thing. Like hands down, Ray Lewis is probably one of the best linebackers ever to live the position.
I would say top 3
two.
middle linebackers.
Yeah, but having Brian Urlacher being underneath him, but playing at the same time, it just. If Ray Lewis would have never existed, the model, like you said, would have been.
Yeah, it would have been Urlacher. Yeah.
But Ray Lewis was the scariest motherfucker to ever play. Like looking at the Ravens reminded me of Miami.
The Ravens were like a super scrappy defense. That early 2000
defense.
Yeah. Well, he brought it there with him.
I'm just saying.
It was him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Suggs, Haloti Ngata, that big fat defensive tackle, Segura something.
It's like when you face.
Can't remember his
name.
When
you face the Ravens, and like who's the less than subpar quarterback?
Dilfer.
No. Who won the Super Bowl?
I think it was Trent Dilfer with the Ravens.
No, it was old boy who said he was elite, and then Joe Flacco.
Oh, Flacco.
Yeah.
Okay, I took the
So here's
01.
the thing: Joe Flacco's not a scrub. He's good enough to make good passes, but he's not.
He's Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you have a Ravens defense, that's how they just stack. So it's not like, oh, we can stop them on offense.
If you have that defense, you don't have to outscore the offense. You just have to put some points up on the board. The defense will do the rest of the work. Because that defense was also scoring a bunch of fucking points. And to bring it back to the Urlacher Ray Lewis thing, it's the same thing. Do you remember Josh Cribbs?
Yes.
For the Browns?
Yes.
Beefy fucking return man. He was a gangster at it.
Yes.
If fucking Devin Hester didn't exist, a lot more people would remember fucking Josh Cribbs' name.
You barely remember Josh Cribbs.
I remember him just because that was in his heydays when I was in high school, not doing anything except looking at football highlights.
I remember seeing him in college.
I never saw him in college. I wasn't a big college guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sticking with football. So Aaron Rodgers has a 2-year contract, but it's technically like a 7-year contract with the
big
Jets.
restructure.
Big restructure.
Yeah.
So Aaron Rodgers, who's not married, who doesn't have any obligations, and stays very healthy, which, by the way, I will say I'm excited as an Aaron Rodgers fan because this is the first time where I've seen him come into training camp in better shape than what he has been leaving the season.
Well, he actually had to go to training camp this year. He couldn't skip it.
Yes.
It wasn't his offense, wasn't his players.
Yes.
He had to go in there and
actually
put in work.
But he came in there already putting in some work. So I saw some early Jets work. Aaron Rodgers pumping some fucking tries. And I'm like, holy shit, dude. You could have been doing this your last 3 seasons for Green Bay, but you were just coasting on your glory.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Me and Chris were looking because she wants to make a trip to St. Louis at some point during the football season.
Yeah.
And
I don't got a squad.
Huh?
I don't got a squad.
No, I know, but where they're at, they're really close to where Kansas City plays.
Yeah.
And they're
Kansas City is in Missouri.
So
not in Kansas.
Yeah. Her friend that live out there, the brother or whatever of them, gets season tickets, and he gets 4 tickets. And so I was looking at the games just to see, and I was like, oh shit, the Chiefs have a home game on like the 5th of November or something like that, and it's against Miami. I was like, that would be a fun game to fucking go to. So I looked to see how much tickets cost. It's in fucking Germany.
Damn.
So technically it's a home game for the Chiefs, but it's in fucking Germany.
One year while we were in the military, you completely skip Kansas. If you drive from Michigan to Clovis, you go through Oklahoma, then right into Texas. But one of the years, I split it up, and so instead of doing a 20-hour trip in a 22-hour trip in 30 hours, I was like, I'm gonna actually do 10, sleep somewhere in 10. My old college RA was in Kansas, so I got to drive through the Royal Stadium.
Nice.
So what's cool about their baseball stadium is it's right off the highway. And when I say right off the highway, it's literally right off the fucking highway.
That's how the Oakland Coliseum was too.
And then when you make that regular trip through St. Louis, one year I was driving, I believe it was like Christmas or New Year's Eve time, and I was just like driving. And as I'm driving through St. Louis at noon, like I was like, why am I seeing fucking fireworks in St. Louis at noon? And I was just like, what the fuck ever, I'm fucked up or something. And then I called my dad, and he's like, oh, they have the game on ice today at the baseball arena between the Blues and then the fucking somebody else. But I was like, oh shit, I totally saw the fireworks. So I just happened to drive by while they were having a live hockey game outside.
That's pretty cool.
And so they've had one at the Big House, I think. They've had one...
Hockey games?
Outside,
That's
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the Big House also, next time they do it, I really want to go. They also do... they had Manchester United versus...
the soccer games, yeah.
Yeah, I want, and now that they're able to sell beer, because the Michigan Senate passed the beer laws, so they're going to be able to sell beers, and then... They could take it away because of the results if it's like, oh, fuck, we...
Yeah, because it was like 2016 is when they came out, and they're like, all right, you're allowed to have beer at college games if it's not on a college campus. And then they divvied it out per state to be like, you guys figure out. Like, well, the NCAA is going to allow it, but the state's got to be the one that puts down the fucking hammer.
Yeah.
And so when I went to the Alabama-USC game in 2016 for the opener, everyone was fucking trashed. Yeah. I ended up having like 3 yardsticks because I drank mine, had a beer, and then I was with Moats and his girl, and neither one of them wanted to finish theirs, so I was like double fisting their halves.
Yeah.
And I was fucking plastered by the end of it. My favorite part about that game, it was 23-3 at halftime. We were up by 20.
Yeah.
Final score of that game was 41-23.
Best part about college is your whole season, you understand that there's not alcohol allowed inside the stadium. So you have to either pregame so hard that you don't need alcohol during the game, or you got to figure out how the fuck to get alcohol in the game.
Oh, yeah, sneak it in.
And so Central Michigan in pre-2009, they had the best tailgating section, I'd say, in America. And why I say this is because, I'll take just grab 2 apiece. So I'll explain it to you. If you went to Central Michigan in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, their stadium, BFE, middle of nowhere, but they have giant parking lots surrounding the stadium. Okay, so there are season ticket holders who get spots so they can tailgate, but student parking used to be car-to-car trucks with speakers blasting music. You could walk through freely with as much alcohol as you wanted to, and then the cool stipulation was if you had a student ID, you could go back out during halftime, drink, and then walk back in.
That's pretty cool.
So, during my tenure at Central, we got caught lying to the NCAA.
I I never got caught at Central.
We got caught lying to the NCAA about our attendance record. So Thursday night football, big football night for fucking for ESPN because they get college football on a Thursday night. And who doesn't like watching fucking football on a Thursday night? So they're like, our attendance record's great. And then they said we had blank amount of students. And then ESPN was there, and goddamn, no one was there.
Not a whole lot of students.
So essentially they were like, well, people come in and out, and we're double counting people. They paid the violations. And so then they said, after I left, they said the students have one ticket to their ID card, and you can get in one time to the game. But they still had tailgate sanctions on the college because my senior year, you were allowed 6 drinks or a pint of alcohol. So
alcohol.
Well, right.
Yeah, that's the.
But then you looked where the student parking was for tailgating. No cars. Nobody wanted to tailgate with these stipulations. So the very next year, once the attendance records fell that great, they brought tailgating back unlimited. So nice. Tailgating at Central is hopefully back to where it used to be, but through the whole season, you plan those times where you drink. This is getting back to our main loop. When you get to a bowl game and you can buy beer at a stadium as a college student, it's the greatest fuck. You feel like a real adult for the first time, dude.
So I got keeping on with sports. I got a bunch of fucking Nolan Ryan facts.
Okay.
And I screenshot all of them because they were all just fucking fantastic.
Nolan Ryan. You'll have to send me the pics.
All right, yeah. So the first one is Nolan Ryan's arm was so damaged by the first 5,000 innings of his career, he was only able to strike out 16 Blue Jays when he no-hit them when he was 44 years old. So it's just crazy. He only 13 strikeouts.
Only.
Because that's how bad his arm was fucked up. Anyways, Roger Clemens won 7 Cy Young Awards and never threw a no-hitter. Nolan Ryan won 0 Cy Young Awards and threw 7 no-hitters.
Wow.
Not a single Cy Young Award for Nolan Ryan.
That's crazy.
Isn't that insane?
I thought he at least had one.
I thought he had a bunch.
At least
I thought
one.
he had a lot.
I would have said like 3 off the rip.
Not a single fucking one for Nolan, which is just insane. Let's go with... Okay, so right now, if a pitcher struck out 250 batters for 22 straight years, Nolan Ryan would still have more strikeouts.
Wow.
That's a lot of fucking strikeouts.
That's dope.
That's fucking insane. So this was, I don't know what day it was, but it says today in 1974, Nolan Ryan threw 235 pitches while walking 10 batters and striking out 19 over 13 innings. He was immediately scheduled for season-ending elbow surgery. Just kidding. He made the start 3 days later and won the next start. Yeah, so he threw 235 pitches and then started 3 days later.
God damn.
That's fucking insane. He played the whole game through 13 innings.
That's wild.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. It's impressive if dudes throw for 9 innings today.
So if you're throwing 100 pitches by June, then the clubhouse knows that you're loose.
Yeah.
But you're going to 110, that's when they're like, you got to get this next guy out.
Yeah.
Later in the season, if you have one of those games where it's like, 7th, 8th inning, you are at 110 pitches, the coaching club is like, hey, you don't got a no-hitter. You don't got a perfect game. You're out. And even if you do...
235 pitches,
even
13 innings.
If you start the 9th inning at 120 pitches, and the first batter gets on first base, you're getting a fucking talking to. Saying, hey, man, you're at 120 pitches.
Yeah.
We're not letting you get to 140.
You add 100 more on there, and you let no one play out the inning.
No one's getting that. No one's getting that pitch count.
Nobody's getting that pitch count today. Here we go. What do we say?
That's like burning your kid's arm at 16, making him pitch 5 games in a row.
Oh, so this says Nolan Ryan took 31 no-hitters into the 7th inning during his career, and the next generation of starting pitchers were lucky to see the 7th inning for 31 times.
Wow.
So it was like, the generation right after Nolan Ryan, they were lucky to see the 7th inning. 31 times.
I thought you were
going to
be like only like 15 players have done it. And that's even crazier.
Yeah, it was
they
just
haven't
a
even
really
they haven't
small
even made
stat
it.
for seeing it.
Yeah, a good pitcher goes 6 or 7.
Is this one worth saying? Oh yeah, this is a really good one. So Nolan Ryan was the only pitcher to face 3 single-season home run leaders in the same year. It was Roger Maris, Mark McGwire, and Barry Bonds.
And he struck them all out.
They were 5-28 against them with 0 home runs.
That's fucking crazy.
So Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, and Roger Maris never hit a home run on Nolan Ryan.
Is he still alive?
Nolan Ryan? I have no idea. He was at like the height of his career in like the late 70s, 80s.
Okay.
So he probably still is. Probably old though.
I mean, I was probably early 70s, late 80s, because Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire and shit didn't start really playing.
Well, he played into like the 90s too,
Yeah.
but he was in like his prime in
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know, mid 70s, 80s.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, this one I thought was really cool. So this just goes to show Nolan's longevity. So 7 players who have been struck out by Nolan Ryan have had sons who also grew up to strike out against Nolan Ryan.
I didn't know that fact.
So it's Sandy and Roberto Alomar. Don't know who that is. Bobby and Barry Bonds. Tito and Terry Francona. Don't know who that is.
Terry Francona.
Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr.
Wow. What
Hal and Brian McRae.
what a thing to have.
Yeah.
Against the Griffies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John and Dick Schofield. And Murray and Bump Willis. So he struck out 7 father-son duos. And all of them were pretty fucking good.
I'd say the best 2 are the Griffies and the Bonds. And
yeah, Griffey and the Bonds, and the rest of them were just like...
And then who was the last one?
Murray and Bump Willis.
Yeah, the Willises were good. And then the one that you didn't... the one where you like Terry...
Tito and Terry
Francona. His dad was a very good baseball player.
Gotcha.
It's like Prince Fielder and his dad.
Okay.
Were very good father-son.
Yeah.
That's one of the best father and son duos.
I mean, the best is the Griffies.
The Griffies.
Because they played together.
The Griffies.
And they went back-to-back home runs. That's insane.
It'd probably be the Griffies, and then it would be the Fielders. Because as far as son-dad goes, both great.
No, Bonds was pretty fucking impressive. I mean,
well, what about a son?
Barry Bonds' son, yeah.
Who?
His dad.
Oh, yeah, but how good was his dad?
His dad was pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Not great, not as good as Barry was, but Barry was an all-time guy. So.
Yeah, it arguably off of dads, if you just go dads alone, Ken Griffey Sr., and then Fielder's dad, and then Barry Bonds' dad. But
I mean, I think Bonds carries him above the Fielders just because Barry was so fucking good.
Yeah.
So these are all stats for like pitchers all time. So most no-hitters, Nolan Ryan was 7.
Okay.
Most one-hitters, Nolan Ryan and Bob Feller with 12. Most 2-hitters, Nolan Ryan with 18. And most 3-hitters, Nolan Ryan with 31. So he owns all those.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fucking good. Another one with Bob Feller in it. In 1980, at age 33, Nolan Ryan recorded his 3,000th strikeout. He then struck out more batters than Warren Spaff, Bob Feller, Tom Gilvain, Don Drysdale, and Juan Miracle. So anyways, all those dudes, he struck out more people after his 3,000th career strikeout than all those guys. And all those guys are in they're in Canton. Or not Canton, but, Baseball Hall of Fame.
In Canton.
Same.
Yeah, I don't even know where the fucking Baseball Hall of Fame is.
I want to say it's on the East Coast, but I'm probably fucking wrong.
If anywhere was my guess, it would probably be like somewhere on the East Coast in one of the colony states.
All right, so the last one, this is just kind of like a funny number. So Goose Gossage and Nolan Ryan played together.
Mm-hmm.
Goose Gossage's 308th career save also secured Nolan Ryan's 308th career victory.
Wow.
Same day, same game.
That's crazy.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So that's it for my Nolan Ryan stats. I thought all those were pretty fucking impressive. There's just some interesting fucking shit.
Nolan Ryan, dude.
Yeah, Nolan Ryan was the GOAT.
One sports story that I have is this dude broke down how when you go to games and they select a random student to like kick field goals and things like that, they calculate that like the chances of that happening is slim to none. And so there's a lot of back-scene waivers that happen. So this story specifically is the Bulls had a 3/4 shot for $1 million. So essentially,
I like this one.
And so essentially, behind the scenes, you had to sign a waiver that says you haven't played professional basketball in X amount of years, 5 years.
Yeah.
So they selected one random fan in the stands because his shoes, quote, wouldn't scuff the floor. Because they were like, oh, he's wearing basketball shoes. And he said, well, hey, this contract I'm signing, this is I can't play organized basketball for the last 5 years. I did play at a community college 2 years ago. And they're like, we don't give a shit. So this Bulls fan, this is the Bulls where Michael...
Yeah.
This is the Bulls squad with...
Late 80s, early 90s Bulls.
Like, I think, like, 90s Bulls. So it's got, like, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan. So he hits the shot in front of everybody. And both benches celebrated like he was a man on their team. Like you just won the game.
Jordan went up and hugged him and was like, dude.
The dude was stoked.
Yeah.
So then they do some digging, and they're like, hey, he violated the contract. And then they were like, we're not paying him. And then the press takes care of it. So headlines. Well, no, the press came out. They were like, hey, they're not going to pay this man.
Yeah.
This is what happened. So eventually, through the press, was released that the Bulls are going to pay him. So later down the line, he sees Jordan at this event at a game. Jordan recognizes him. He's trying to get a fucking basketball signed. His basketball that he made the $1 million shot with signed. Jordan just doesn't sign the ball. He was like, hey, did you get your money?
Yeah.
And so the guy found out through Jordan and other teammates pressuring, saying, hey, motherfucker, you didn't make this shit right.
Yeah.
So that's why he got his money, is because the players, including Michael Jordan, went to organizations and said, hey, you dumb motherfuckers.
Yeah. You got to pay this fucking
You
man.
got to pay
made
this
the shot.
Yeah.
And Jordan's also a big time gambler too, so of course he's gonna be like, dude, you made the bet. You gotta honor that fucking bet, dog. What are you doing?
Okay, Rick.
Whatever.
I made the bet, but yeah.
Come on, Morty.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. So that story, and then he got his ball signed.
Yeah.
And everything worked out in the end, but that shit was...
I'd be so mad.
That's like...
If I made a half court shot and out of nowhere they're like, oh yeah, you couldn't have military service in the last 10 years, I'd be like, what the fuck?
I don't know the ending, but I'll tell you, I would get the best lawyer around. There's a lady at a casino that pulled the slot, won $42 million.
Oh, yeah.
And then she went to the casino and they said, come back tomorrow for payments and we'll figure it out.
I listened to that when we were in the car.
Yeah. And then she goes back and they're like, it was an error. I would fucking...
Yeah, they said it was a glitch in their system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Said $42 million.
So it never got resolved. They gave her a steak dinner and that was it. Nothing else.
Oh, man, dude.
She realistically only won, I think it was like $23 or something like that.
$2.34.
Yeah, whatever it was.
And they said, we'll also give you a free steak dinner. I'd get the best lawyer around and be like, what did the machine
She had
say?
the picture. She had the picture.
Yeah. I don't know how that didn't hold up in court.
No idea.
She didn't have Michael Jordan playing for that casino.
Speaking of fucking lottery, so I wrote this down. I got a screenshot so I can actually get like the legitimate fucking shit on it. So there's this woman that won the lottery, I want to say out of fucking California, could be wrong, was $1.3 million. And she, oh fuck, did I not save it? It's probably in here. So she won it, and then 10 days later, she decided she was going to divorce her husband.
Oh, I love this article.
Yeah, so she divorces her husband. Nothing happens for a fucking minute because nobody really gives a shit about any of that. Here it is. Doesn't say the state. So, all right, here it is. So, in January 1997, Denise Rossi filed for divorce against her ex-husband, Thomas Rossi. Surprisingly, she filed for divorce just 11 days after discovering her massive California Super Lotto jackpot win. Mm-hmm. She thought she kept the winnings a secret from Thomas. Following the divorce, Thomas faced bankruptcy when his shop closed down. However, his life changed when he received mail addressed to Denise revealing her lottery win 2 years after the divorce. Under the state law, Denise's failure to include her winnings in the divorce proceeding qualifies as a violation of state asset disclosure laws. As a result, the judge awarded all of Denise's lottery winnings to her ex-husband, including everything she had already spent. So he won.
He had to pay in full.
Whatever the fuck. Well, no, not in full. So they ended up setting up a payment plan. So she only had I think it was a couple $100,000 left.
Yeah.
So she had to sign all that over to him, and then started a payment plan. She had to sell off a bunch of her fucking assets. The house that she bought was his. Everything that she had bought was his. And then there was a payment plan set up for everything after that. So there was $300,000 that was unaccounted for, and so she just had to give him a couple grand a month until it was paid off.
Yeah.
Big fucking W for him. Don't bullshit the fucking legal system.
No.
If you win the lottery and you're trying to get a divorce, you have to be all right, I won the fucking lottery. Take your fucking half.
Look, I know the battle of the sexes will always be there,
Mm-hmm.
but when a court proceeding wins for a man like that,
2 years down the road, still a fucking big W.
as a man,
Yeah.
that's a fucking W right
big
there,
W.
dude.
I'll take a shot to that.
Cheers. If your wife
Also, what was the other one? I think it was Adele's ex-husband or whatever.
Yeah.
Was entitled to $100 million
So much.
of her net worth, which
Yeah.
was almost half.
Yeah.
Big W. Big W for the men everywhere. It's been a lot of big losses for men in the divorce courts. One of the biggest ones was fucking Tiger Woods.
What?
He had to shell out because they broke up a bunch of times, but he had to shell out. I think it was something close to $20,000 a month for alimony, and then another $300,000 a month for child support.
When dating celebrities like Tiger Woods, you have to sign NDAs and shit like that, which is crazy. And the last girlfriend that he had tried to sue him and say that she was supposed to stay in that home.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the pod before.
And then the judge was like, no. So
Yeah.
he lost in early court, but he got the right lawyers for later on in life.
Yeah, his wife ended up, his ex-wife, can't remember her
Lindsey
name.
Vonn?
I don't know her name. Whoever he had the kids with.
Skier?
No idea.
She was, she was an Olympic skier.
I didn't even know that. But I do know that the last time that they broke up, he tried to get back together with her, and he was like, hey, I'm going to make it work.
Ellen Nordegren.
I believe you.
She's Swedish.
Okay. So the last time they broke up, because he cheated on her or whatever,
Yes.
he was like, hey, I'm ready to be a good fucking husband. Let's get back together. And she was like, all right, but you have to sign this agreement saying that if you cheat on me again, you have to give me another 50% of your net worth. They never got back together. They never got back together.
He knew.
He's a little smarter than he seems.
I was talking with this old man about golf.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, hey, my best friend, when I was growing up, didn't get married till 35. And he's the best golfer of all my friends to this day. And he goes, don't rush into anything. And I go, why do you think I'm fucking still doing it? Because I don't want to just stop doing what I like.
Yeah.
So if you're like, yeah, cool, we can do it together, or we can have our own time, and that's great. But I never want the stipulation of where I have to ask permission to do the things I like. And I understand if there's kids. Like, look, if there's kids,
kids are different.
You got to sacrifice.
Yeah.
But if you're like, hey, I've kicked it with you Monday through Friday, we've had a great time, and I want to spend 4 hours with the boy on a Saturday morning, and you have a problem with it, well, I got a problem with you.
Yeah.
Because if it's like, oh, but you this Saturday you promised to go, okay, this Saturday, yes, okay, cool, we made plans, I got you.
Yeah.
But every other Saturday, I'm trying to get on the
golfing.
links.
Yeah, I'm golfing.
Yeah.
Well, best case scenario is she wants to golf as well, and then you just have a sober driver to drive you home after the fucking course.
It's just finding another guy who's married to a girl that likes golf.
Yeah.
So on the weekends, you can hang out with your buddy, and then the wives can jibber jabber. They're not going to want to be in the same car as you guys.
Oh, speaking of golf.
They're probably going to want to talk about one of their coworkers.
Speaking of golf.
Yeah.
I hit up the dude, the local PGA pro that's in this area. He's at Michigan Center. I emailed him last night at 10 p.m. He emailed me this morning and was like, hey, man, super excited. Because I told him I was military vet, looking to, take some strokes off my golf game. I've been golfing. I told him I'd only been golfing for 4 years. Because, technically, That's kind of what
in
I
all
fucking...
seriousness.
Yeah, that's realistically what I've been doing. I golfed like 3 times before the age of 10. I golfed a bunch when I was like 17, 16, but like maybe altogether like 26 times during those 2 years altogether, and that's when I had the most free time fucking ever.
Yeah.
And then after that, I didn't golf until I got to Cannon. I golfed like twice, maybe 3 times at Cannon. One of them was with you at that par 3 course.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was after I got out of the military. So I've realistically only been golfing since like late 2018.
Yeah.
And so what's that, 5 years now, I guess?
Yeah, give or
Close
take.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've only been golfing for 5 years. I told him 4. I've only been golfing for 4 years, ex-military, looking to take some strokes off my game. And I was like, and one of the questions he asked is like, what part of your game do you want to work on? And I just put all of it. And he was like, yeah, super stoked to get you started on this. And then he shot me his thing, so you can get 5 lessons from him for $75
Give me his fucking...
to start.
Yeah.
So it only covers the first 2 lessons, but then the other 3 are another $100.
So 75.
So it's $175 altogether for 5 lessons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Easy.
so 75 covers the first 2, and if you guys,
Yeah.
if you enjoy the lessons, then you sign up for another one. You get another 3 for $100.
Yeah.
So pretty good fucking deal,
Yeah.
considering you get like the 5th lesson for $25 pretty much. But I think I'm gonna do it. I don't know when.
I'd be down to go with you.
Yeah. Would you rather do that instead of the scramble coming up? Do both. I don't know if I can afford both this month. If we do one of them, we could do one this month and the other one next month.
Yeah.
And maybe get the lessons for like early September.
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it then.
Because I would like to have.
And honestly, if me and you go there and he's like, hey, both of you guys together in the same lesson for an hour, maybe we get a discounted fucking rate.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, if it's $50 a piece for the first 2, I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, bro, yeah, because I would like here's if I get 5 lessons in golf.
Let's get his name.
If I get 5 lessons in golf right now, here's what I want to do. I want the first lesson to be chipping.
I want all short game for the first 2 is in my mind.
So first is chipping, second is putting. I want to learn how to read a green properly. Because that is a huge...
His name is Matthew Russell.
So I want to learn how to read a green properly, Like, I want to learn how to dial in... I want putting to be one of the lessons. 4 and 5 can be whatever you want. 3 and 4 can be whatever you want. But option 5 has to be... I just want him to see him as a driver. So, chipping, putting, short game, driver. Is what I would want out of this.
So in my perfect world, it would be short game for the first 2 lessons. So that's like 45 and in, and then you just move out from there. So you go after that, you do like the shallow irons. So you do like fucking pitching wedge through like 6, 7,
Okay.
and then long irons for the 4th one. And then the last day is just hitting bombs. Just teach me how to hit a fucking bomb.
I want to go close to short, close to far.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So let's see what he's got here. I'm looking at his fucking PGA. He's got 27 years of experience teaching and playing at all levels. He's got 5 different things to focus on. So breaking 100, breaking 90, breaking 80, improve your short game, and make the high school golf team. So I think for ours it would be breaking 90 because we do break 90, but it's not consistent.
I've only done it 3 times this year.
I don't think I've done it this year. I think I've hit 90 this year. I don't think I've broken 90
I've gotten
this year.
185 with you.
Yeah.
And then I've gotten 286s.
Currently he has 81 students, but I think that's just over the last year. And he's only got 800 followers on Facebook. But so he's doing so this is another one. So it's the same deal he's doing a junior golf camp in August, and it's $175 a participant, and it's 5 one-hour sessions.
Dope.
So it's the same price pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So found the dude real close, 30 minutes away, and he only teaches at his country club. So there's a country club in Chelsea. Don't know the fucking name of it. I could probably figure it out real quick.
Right.
Few events. So he's the head golf pro at the Inverness Country Club. Inverness. Inverness Country Club.
If the listeners are good enough, I'm going to be like, hey, I would like to come separately with my dad for the first session.
Yeah.
Just so Brad gets
It's
eased into
in Chelsea. Let's see how far away it is from our location.
Chelsea's like 30 minutes.
36 minutes altogether.
Yeah.
34 if you take the highway.
Of course.
Oh, right near Pleasant Lake.
Mm.
Like that. Or it's closer to Pleasant Lake. Not right near it.
Right.
Oh, dude, it's just south of Pinckney. Right there.
Yeah.
Right there next to fucking Timber.
You're going to hit so much timber.
Oh, dude, I would love to. But yeah, so I think that's something I'm going to do. And we can definitely do that together. I'll email him tonight.
I'm down to take golf lessons.
Yeah, I'll email him tonight. I mean, every amateur golfer could use fucking golf lessons. The only golf lessons I ever took was in high school, and it wasn't even. I didn't really give a shit about it because I was like, it was just something to get out of class. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like a golf pro or anything. He was just a fucking history teacher that liked to golf, so he was the golf coach. Mm-hmm. Coach Donnell. He also coached the women's basketball team at Oakmont High School. We also had he looked just like Albert Einstein, Mr. Henning, and he died of cancer 3 years after I graduated. But he was 6'9" and looked like a big beer drinking Albert Einstein.
Right.
And he was actually related to Albert Einstein. He had the same mustache and the same hairline, which I thought was fucking hilarious.
Speaking of...
But every year at the senior night, he would go up and do one dunk. He would do one dunk a year. And he would jump up and do a big fucking tomahawk dunk. And towards the end of it, I guess it got kind of sad because he would just go up with one hand and just kind of like barely get it in because he was so old.
Speaking of Albert Einstein, I do want to speak on a movie that I just watched on Netflix.
It's not Oppenheimer.
No, it's called Hidden Strike. And it's with Jackie Chan and John Cena.
Okay.
So, this is not a movie where I suggest you schedule your day out to make time for this movie. This is a movie where if you're cooking food or need something on in the background, this is a good movie to have. So, during Hidden Strike, John Cena and Jackie Chan eventually come together to learn their differences because they're from opposite sides to take down the ultimate bad guy.
Rush Hour.
Yes. So, at one point, knowing John Cena as a normal human being, I was like, I wonder if he's going to be speaking Chinese or Mandarin in this movie.
That wasn't until later in his career.
Well, right, but he's spoken Mandarin in his career.
Yeah.
And apologized and said some shit completely in Mandarin. So I made the joke, like, I wonder if he's going to be speaking in Mandarin to Jackie Chan in the movie.
Yeah.
100% he does. So there's a scene where he's like, you speak this language? And John Cena's like, yes, I do. So, I will say there's two really funny points to point out that are in movies that we watch and that were made past 2020. The first one being that at the end of the movie, John Cena was like, oh, you think you know everything. Who are you, Confucius? And I was like, why do you have to say Confucius? Because when I was raised, if you knew or a know-it-all, you were an Einstein.
Yeah. Like, okay, Einstein.
German.
Yeah.
So just because it's fucking John Cena talking to Jackie Chan, it had to be Confucius.
He's like, all right, Confucius.
And I was like, ugh. My second favorite was John Cena had the relationship with his American. He reminded you that he was American several times in the movie.
Yeah.
But he has a Ford truck that's manual.
Of course.
That he's been working on his whole thing. His whole they don't even address it. You just know.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where the bad guy goes off road. He'll go, "We'll see if his vehicle's ready." I'm like, you're that terrible of a bad guy that you have to challenge.
Maybe his truck won't be able to follow us.
You have to challenge his morale as a mechanic to see if he'll follow you in the movie. So I'm like, okay. So as like a razor, like a military razor off-cart vehicle is going through fucking the desert. They go off this ramp and they barely make it. So John Cena, who's in the passenger seat, by the way, who, if this was the okay, so we're using the vehicles with the steering wheel on the opposite side of the car.
Okay.
So you're on the left, and you have the left view mirror. He's just resting his M4 on it.
On the mirror.
Yes. So as he's using this, he's going, "Hey." To the driver, and the driver is Jackie Chan's daughter in the movie, who's Jackie Chan's daughter. So if you had to guess based off of a 2000 stereotype, Jackie Chan's daughter, who would you guess?
It's a little Asian girl.
A young Asian female. Yes. So John Cena goes, "I don't think we should be flooring it," and she was like, "Don't worry, I got it." And she wrecks the vehicle into pieces. And I'm not talking about like, oh, she wrecked it. No. It's done.
Yard sale.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And so Jackie Chan, who is not in the vehicle, who pulls up with another vehicle, and they flag him down, was about to make a joke about how upset he was like, "Oh, you got a flat tire?" And John's like, "If you say one fucking joke about my fucking car, I'm gonna lose my shit." And he was like, "I was about to say, come in." But the fact that Jackie Chan was like, "I don't think we can make this fucking jump," and this Asian female driver said,
Yeah. Don't worry, I got it.
I got it. Literally her words. She'll make it. And literally wasn't even close. I'm like, who is making the decisions on this movie for plot points?
That's pretty fucking funny.
Dude. That's why I watch action movies. It's not like, oh, I enjoyed the action. It's...
Yeah, I'm not one of those guys. I don't really enjoy... Like, action movies are alright.
I just enjoy the fuckery.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's that? So, oh, did you see when they drove a car in outer space? Stupid. Fast and Furious.
Fast 11, Fast 18, whatever
Fast
the fuck
10,
it was.
Part 1.
Jesus Christ. Speaking of Mandarin, I said something pretty funny at the bar the other day with Chris, to the dudes we're kicking it with. Because they were talking about like their nail salon, and I remember a story that my sister told me. She first moved down to Southern California. She was getting her nails done at this salon, and they kept talking shit about her, and because she got feet like mine, and they kept talking shit about her, and so she was like, "I'm gonna take some Mandarin lessons at the local JC and learn what the fuck they're talking about." So she took like a whole summer of Mandarin just to figure out what her nail salon was talking shit about. And then she went in after that summer just to find out that they're all Korean. Didn't speak a lick of Mandarin.
That's a comedy bit. Dude.
That's pretty good, right?
If you're ever getting on stage, dude, write that fucking
That's
down,
pretty fucking
dude.
good,
That's,
right?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
Didn't speak
fucking
a lick
good.
of Mandarin, dude. They spoke Korean.
That's fucking good, dude.
Spent a whole summer, put in a bunch of money.
If you're
she
the
was like,
one
I'm
viewer
gonna
right
learn
now,
that
you're
shit.
like rolling, dude. But that's a good comedy bit.
Yeah,
right
I
there.
thought it was hilarious. Everyone like people that were just like eavesdropping on us started laughing, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll have to remember that one. But yeah, funny shit. My sister's kind of a fucking dumbass though. She used to come over to our house all the time when I was in high school and like give us gifts and shit. And one time she came over to fill up. She was filling up her like mug of water because she was hungover, and all we had were clean coffee mugs. And so she was sitting there, had it under the sink, like just talking to me for like a solid 20 seconds. And then she looks back down at her mug, and she was holding it upside down. She was like, oh shit, and I had to like flip it over just to fill it back up. Yeah, stupid. She tried to bring us to it was like a Broadway show, like a musical. It was Lion King play. She got free tickets from whatever company she worked for at the time, and it was on like F and 24th Street. And we were driving, and she ended up driving us to Lincoln, California, F and 24th. It was supposed to be in Sacramento, F and 24th. So we drove like 40 minutes out of our way just to go to the wrong fucking city. We were in like a neighborhood, and she was like, it's supposed to be here. And this was back in the day at MapQuest.
Yeah.
So she like printed up the wrong fucking MapQuest. She called my dad. My dad looked it up and was like, oh, you're in the wrong city. So we had to drive like an hour back down south. And we showed up right at the midpoint break. So they let us in. And yeah, we saw like the very last half of the Lion King thing. I mean, it was free, but she wasted a lot of fucking gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the smartest tool in the shed.
Some people aren't like me.
So I have two things.
Okay.
For cut stumpers.
Ooh. Let me 1 hour on the dot. Roll the clip.
Drop the logo.
So it's I'll let you pick. It's either you can guess the top 5 most watched sporting events, or the top 10 athletes of 2022-23.
So the top 5 sporting events for what?
The top 5 most watched sporting events, like on TV,
Okay.
or the top 10 athletes of 2023, or we could do both of them.
I'll do the top 5 most watched
All right,
sporting events.
let me find it real quick.
So they are they specific dates and times? Or are they
Just the most watched sporting events.
so I can just name off like number 1? I'm gonna go Super Bowl,
All right, so Super Bowl, not on the list.
Wimbledon,
Not on the list. The Olympics count.
Summer Olympics,
Number 4.
Winter Olympics,
Number 5. Gave you 2 freebies there.
All right.
So now you got the top 3.
Soccer, World Cup,
That's number 2.
women's soccer.
No.
Okay.
Not even close.
So I got 2. I got 1 and 3.
Well, 1 and 3. So I'll give you another hint. Neither one of these are super big in the U.S.
Rugby. No, not rugby.
So hold on. Neither one of these are super big in the U.S., but at one point we had like the best dude in the world at number 1.
Oh fuck.
Not an Olympic sport.
It's not cricket.
The Cricket World Cup is number 3. That's not the one I was talking about.
Okay, so that's 3. Hey, go down! You're all recording an episode. Anyways, so number 1.
And I know if you don't get it and I tell you what it is, you're going to be like, fuck.
If I made one guess, sports that the world watches. I don't know.
It's a specific event in the sport, and if I told you the sport, you would immediately know what it is.
Well, just tell me.
Tour de France.
Bicycling.
Yeah. That's the number 1 most watched thing in the world.
Really?
Really.
Who gives off? They're riding bikes, man. They're the most hated community in the world.
They really are. They really are.
Well,
All right, let's do the other one just for shits and gigs, because I'll come up with another one. So it's the top 10 athletes of 2022, 2023.
In all sports.
All sports throughout the world.
LeBron James.
Not on the list.
Steph Curry.
Not on the list. So it's just of the last year.
Okay.
Neither one of them really did much in the last year. But I do understand why you would say those names, because, you know. There are, I will say there's, 2 basketball players on the list? I'll give you this. There's 2 NBA players, 1 NFL player, 1 hockey player.
Patrick Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes is at number 8.
I'm not going to know most of this list, man.
All right, so you'll know. I'll tell you right now. You know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know 6 of them for sure.
And what are the breakdowns?
So there's a couple soccer players, a couple basketball players, a baseball player.
So
There's a
Messi,
hockey player. Messi's number 2.
and then Ronaldo.
Nope.
Damn.
Who just got that big contract that he denied? Soccer.
I know the dude you're talking about, but I can't think of his name.
Mbappe.
Yeah.
Number 9.
Yeah.
There's one more soccer player. I don't think you know him, though. Huge name in soccer right now, but...
Is it the dude who's... he plays for Finland?
Holland.
Yeah.
Yeah, white dude, Holland.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with the
so
blonde
he's
hair.
at number 4.
Yeah.
You definitely know the number 1 guy. I'm not going to tell you what sport he plays, but you for sure fucking know him. We've talked about him a lot. Plays in the U.S.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. Shohei.
Yeah, he's the number 1. He's the number 1. You want to try and give a stab at the hockey player?
I don't.
Connor McDavid.
Connor McDavid for
He's number
Ottawa?
5. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 basketball players on there. One of them's number 10. One of them's at 6.
Who had good years in basketball? Jokic?
Jokic is number 6.
Murray?
Nope.
No.
International player, kind of. Plays in the U.S.,
Luka.
though. No.
I don't know.
Giannis.
Giannis.
So the list goes Shohei at 1, Messi at 2, tennis player at number 3, Djokovic, don't know. Holland's at 4, McDavid's at 5, Jokic's at 6, another tennis player at 7, Pat Mahomes at 8, Mbappe at 9, Giannis at 10. But that was voted on, it was like a Sports Illustrated thing. But it was like a worldwide thing, so most popular guys in the last year.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Definitely good to get cut Stuffers bags.
Got a couple more random things. So the water in California, if you want to mark down the time on this, it's a pretty cool fucking little clip. Or not a clip, just a picture. It's before and after of heavy rain in California. So this is 2021. This is what it looks like now.
Holy shit.
So the shit in California is slowly starting to fucking come back. I think that's pretty fucking cool. You got hair on your... Yeah, there you go.
Dog hair?
Yeah, dog hair. And then what else do I got? India's first ever gay prince, like openly gay prince, is out. And I guess he has an interview, I haven't listened to it yet, talking about how his parents tried to convert him with a brain surgery when he was younger.
Wow.
Because he was like super honest with him when he was a kid. But yeah, so he's India's first super open, super gay prince.
Wow.
That was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
The only other thing is there's a guy, his name's James Harrison, not a football player. He's given blood every single week for the last 64 years. He has a very special blood type. And according to the Red Cross Blood Service, his contributions over the last 64 years, so he's donated every week for the last 64 years, he has saved upwards of 2.4 million babies because of his special blood. So his blood has a unique disease-fighting antibody that was used to develop an injection called Anti-D, which helps fight against Rheus disease. No idea what that is. But he was saved 64 years ago when he had chest surgery. And he found out that there was only like 3 guys that have that specific gene that has that antibody in it. And he was one of them. So he like had to have that type of blood. But it's also really good for newborns because they don't have any antibodies.
Right.
And so for the last 64 years, he's been giving blood every week. And he's saved 2.4 million babies.
That's crazy.
At least.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
fucking impressive.
That's like Genghis Khan numbers right there.
Kind of, yeah. His blood's out there. His blood's out there.
there.
Maybe more than Genghis Khan at this point.
Who knows?
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. LeBron's school sucks at math. There's a gay prince out there. We could have it. Love to see that. Love to see that. Yeah, and you sucked at the top 10 athletes, but you crushed the fucking most watched sports. You just didn't get the number 1.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, it was a tough one. I knew as soon as I said it, I knew you'd be like,
That's bullshit. No one watches that.
Super Bowl ain't even on there. But
No.
it makes sense because it's a worldwide thing. I'm sure states-wise, World Cup's probably not even on the top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll always be in the Europe because the Tour de France, not the
Tour de France. It's not the Tour de Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's not the
There's
Tour
some
de
potholes
Atlanta.
coming up.
The Tour de Oakland.
Bumpy roads coming up. JTShowShow 129.
You guys want a beer? Let me know in the comments. I'll buy you a beer.
Y'all have a good night.